client of mine was 20 minutes away from signing a $312 a month contract for an AI hiring platform. I told him to wait a weekend. If you're a small agency owner staring at another seat-based SaaS quote just to hire 2 people, you already know that feeling. In the next 8 minutes, I'll show you the 4 N8N workflows that replaced sourcing, screening, and scheduling for his last hiring sprint. Most tutorials demo the vendor's UI. I'll show you the actual node graph. His sprint, 184 applicants, 1 ball and 47 in a PI costs. I'm Lazar. I ship these stacks for clients weekly. Let's open 8N. Here's the situation the client walked in with. 6-person agency, hiring 1 senior developer and 1 junior ops role. They demoed a well-known hiring platform, loved the pitch, and were about to commit to 4 seats at $78 each. $312 a month, annual contract, plus onboarding. The pitch was clean: a sourcing agent, a screening agent, and a scheduling agent. 3 problems, 3 agents, done. And honestly, the pitch is right about the problems. Sourcing eats a full day. Screening eats another. Scheduling eats a third in tiny 15-minute increments across 2 weeks. That's real pain. The part the vendor hides is that these 3 jobs are not complicated automations. They're 4 N8N workflows and a Claude API key. So let me walk you through exactly what we built, node by node, and what it cost. Workflow 1 is sourcing. The goal is simple: pull fresh candidates from the channels the client already posts to and land them in one Airtable base with a consistent schema. We used 3 triggers. First, an IMAP node watching the shared hiring inbox where LinkedIn and Indeed forward applications. Second, a webhook the client's careers page hits when someone submits the form directly. Third, a scheduled scrape of 2 niche job boards using a lightweight scraping node with rotating headers. All 3 feed into a normalizer function that outputs the same 7 fields: name, email, role applied for, resume URL, cover letter text, source, and timestamp. That normalized record goes into an Airtable candidates table with the status column defaulted to new. That's it. No AI in this workflow. Sourcing is a plumbing problem, not an intelligence problem. The vendor calls it an agent because it sounds better in a demo. Workflow 2 is where Claude actually earns its keep. This is screening. The trigger is an Airtable webhook that fires whenever a new candidate row lands. The workflow pulls the resume, extracts the text with a PDF parcel node, and sends it to Claude with a scoring prompt. The prompt is the important part, and I'll put the full text on the site, but the structure is this. Here is the job description. Here is the rubric with 5 weighted criteria. Here is the resume. Return a JSON object with a score from 0 to 100, a tier of A, B, or C, and 3 sentences of reasoning tied to specific resume evidence. That last constraint matters. Without it, Claude hallucinates enthusiasm. With it, you get auditable output the hiring manager can trust. The JSON comes back, an Airtable update node writes the score, tier, and reasoning to the candidate row, and a Slack node posts every A-tier candidate to a private channel, where the hiring manager sees them within minutes of applying. On this sprint, 184 applicants ran through this workflow. 22 came back A-tier. The manager reviewed only those 22. That's the entire screening bottleneck gone. Workflow 3 is scheduling. This is the one that surprised the client the most because it feels like it should be hard, and it isn't. When the hiring manager clicks a button in Airtable to approve an A-tier candidate for an interview, that fires a webhook. The workflow generates a cal.com booking link scoped to the manager's real availability, drafts a warm personal email using Claude with the candidate's name, the role, and one specific detail from their resume, and sends it through Gmail. Then a second workflow watches the Gmail thread. If the candidate replies with a question instead of booking, Claude drafts a response for the manager to approve in one click. If they book, the calendar event auto-creates with the resume and screening notes in the description. No back and forth. No time zone confusion. The manager's job is one click to approve, one click to send follow-ups. Workflow 4 is the one nobody builds and everybody should. It's the silver-medalist nurture. Every candidate marked B tier or rejected goes into a 14-day sequence. Day 1. A genuine rejection with specific feedback drafted by Claude from the screening reasoning. Day 7. A check-in with 2 relevant open roles from the client's network. Day 14. An invitation to a small talent pool for future openings. The client hired their junior ops person from this list 6 weeks after the sprint ended. 0 additional sourcing cost. Now the numbers. Total Claude API spend across all 4 workflows for the full sprint, $1.47. N8N runs on a $5 VPS the client already had. Airtable and cal.com free tiers. Recruiter time reclaimed, measured by the manager's own calendar audit. 9 hours and 12 minutes over 3 weeks. The SaaS quote they almost signed, $312 a month. Annual commitment, so $37.44 for the year. The N8N stack, fully loaded, costs less than one recruiter's weekly coffee budget and does the same 3 jobs. And critically, when the client wants to change how screening works, they open the prompt in a text editor and change it. No support ticket, no feature request, no waiting for a vendor roadmap. The full 4 workflow JSON export and the Claude scoring prompt are up on BizflowAI.io. Import them into your N8N, swap the Airtable base ID, and you're running by dinner. While you're there, look at what else we ship for clients. This is one of dozens of stacks that replace seat-based SaaS. If you want the next breakdown, hit subscribe and ring the bell so it lands in your feed. And if you've got a workflow you want built for you, not by you, book a free 30-minute discovery call at BizflowAI.io and we'll scope it live.